Hey guys, welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid. Definitely make sure to get my six back here this evening. And we're not looking for Bigfoot Sasquatch. We're looking for a black bear that I just almost literally stepped on when I came up here. There's a light drizzle. And, I'm up here at our campground and there's a meadow. I was like, I don't know, walking up here thinking of what I'm going to say. I have a very interesting story to tell you. It's about magic, kind of, sort of. And it's a story that I just told my 9-year-old son. And he said it was boring. And I think it's because he just, he can't really comprehend it yet at his age. But I thought it might not be so boring for maybe a 29-year-old or a 39, 49, 59, 69, 79, 89-year young person to hear this story. Now, when I'm coming up here, I have my head down. I'm thinking of what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it. And I just caught movement out of the corner of my eyes. And I look up and 15 feet away, there was a bear, a black bear laying up here. And that's not the first time we've seen it. Well, you know what? This is a different one. We saw one up here a couple weeks ago that was a lot bigger. This one is a different bear. This one's maybe 120 pounds. So just watch for movement back here. Thought I heard a growl. Okay, so if I'm doing this, I hope I don't make you dizzy. But I'm going to be scanning my background while I'm up here. Making sure I don't get eaten. All right, so my son, he asks me sometimes, is magic real? I don't know where this comes from, but he asks me if magic's real. And I'm always saying, well, no. And this is just my opinion. Maybe it is. There's some illusionists out there that are wonderful. Great movie that I saw once was called The Illusionist. Really makes you wonder. I've talked to him about the power of suggestion. But he asked me this again this evening, and I just got finished working. I've been writing all afternoon, and I've finished another story for an anthology I'm working on for this fall. Hopefully I can get to meet this deadline and have this thing out this fall because it's like Halloweenish type stuff. And so he asked me again, Dad, is magic real? And I said, you know what? Yes. I said, I'm always telling you no, but I have discovered a magic. And he said, what is it? And I said, it's called the power of positive thinking. And he's like, huh? And so I, try to tell him, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, either way, you're right. And he's like, huh? So I told him a story, and I'm not a name dropper. Name droppers, people who are name droppers typically want you to think they're more important than they really are. Okay, I've met some folks. I know some folks. I'm not going to, say who some of these folks are around here. But I was fortunate enough years ago to meet my childhood hero, a guy named Hulk Hogan. Look out for that bear, because that Hulk Hogan's bigger than that bear, but still that bear's a wild animal. Hulk Hogan, his real name's Terry. Something starts with a B. It's slipping my mind right now. But I was at Fort Lewis. I was in the Warriors in Transition Battalion. I'd been hurt in Iraq, and so I spent 6 months at this place getting better, supposedly. Well, Hulk Hogan came through. He had recently written a book, and he was having a book signing. So we were all standing in line to meet him. And when you got there, it was like, you stick out your hand, he'd shake your hand. You'd say something like, it's an honor to meet you. And then that's it. It lasts like 5 seconds. That's it. So we're going through the line. And again, Hulk Hogan had been my childhood hero. So it's not like I was obsessed with him. It's not like I was obsessed with him and was always Googling him to see what was going on in his life at the time and whatnot. But I did know that he was going through a divorce. This is back when he was going through his divorce. Vince McMahon, the owner of the WWE, actually owns the rights to Hulk Hogan's name. And Hulk has gone to him many times and said, please, can I buy the rights of my own name to you? This Hulk Hogan has made the WWE what it is. And all the money from his name goes to Vince McMahon. So Hulk wasn't really doing that great. He went through this divorce, lost so much. Pretty much he had lost everything. He was back into wrestling, even though Guys, I saw him walking when he left that day. He limped more than any injured soldier on that post. And I'm not going to compare what he did to what we did or whatnot, but my point to this is the man was almost 60 at the time, living with chronic pain, but he was still going in the ring because he needed the money, you know? So I knew he was kind of down. So when I got up to him, it was my turn to shake his hand and say an honor to meet you or whatever. I shook his hand and I said, you inspired me to get through so much stuff in my life that I know you can get through this. That inspiration came from somewhere, okay? I'm not wrestling, real, fake, whatever. Inspiration is real. Your words were real. Your aura, your energy is real. And you got me through some tough times. I know you can get through this. Well, he didn't let go of my hand. He said, thank you, brother. He goes, you have no idea how bad I need to hear that. And so I just kept talking some more, like encouragement type stuff. His handler even came up and was like trying to push me along, and Hulk was pushing his handler back and gripping onto my hand. And I was just telling him, I was like, brother, you will get through this. You'll get through this. You picked up Andre the Giant and slammed him. He's over 800 pounds. You'll get through this. This too shall pass. We talked for probably 3 minutes, okay, which isn't a long time in the grand scheme of things, but compared to the other, 10 seconds everybody else was spending with him, that was a pretty big deal. Watching for that bear. Potentially other things. Who knows? So anyway, I got his book, and I think it was called My Life Outside of the Ring. And I read it like in one night. And there was something that he mentioned in there several times throughout the book that I'd never heard of before. And it was called, it's called The Secret. That's like a common name, but what it really is, it's the law of attraction. Now, guys, listen. Just because you buy into some concepts of some philosophies or some mindsets or something doesn't mean you've got to discard everything else you believe in any other avenue. I've had people blast me on the channel. Oh, I thought you were this. I thought you were that. I'm not one-dimensional. I'm many things. And if I find a philosophy or a way of teaching where I can pick up something and apply it to my life and help myself out or make my life better, I'll do that. And it doesn't mean I've got to throw away my faith in any other ways, any other belief systems I have. Come on now. That's so one-dimensional, So anyway, I always looked up to Hulk Hogan. So he's pitching this. It wasn't pitching it. He was just talking about things that were changing his life, And it was The Secret, the law of attraction. So I started studying that. Fast forward a little bit, Hulk Hogan, he's still down and out. He's in this lawsuit with Gawker. He's pretty much got nothing. His ex-wife took everything. I'm down and out in the Philippines a short while later. Oh, it's a raindrop on my camera. I thought it was a big black object. I was afraid of that bear. So we're in, and I mentioned this the other day in a video I made. Dearly, my beautiful bride Dearly, and myself and our son, who was like a year old or two at the time, were really down and out, okay? Daniel, our son, was the only one who ate regularly. Dearly and I went to bed hungry every night, and we never told each other. We didn't talk about this until after we had made it here to the U.S. and got our homestead and was doing really well. We're really blessed, and we're fortunate, and we're grateful for everything we have. We know what it's like to have nothing. We know what it's like to just live off of rice that we borrowed at high interest and go into the jungle and dig up edible plants and make a root soup. We call it root soup. You better believe I'm grateful that for every piece of food in my kitchen and in my pantry, I do not take it for granted. I do not say, well, why shouldn't I have it? I work hard and I make a decent... Well, yeah. Yeah, but I'm still very grateful. Okay, so anyway... We were down and out. We were in the jungle. We had nothing, but we had each other, and that's everything. Let me tell you that. First time I've experienced unconditional love in my life is the most powerful thing. There's a magic for you. Someone who loves you not for what you can do for them or what you can give them, but because you are who you are, and they love that. First time I've ever had that. So we kept working. We kept plugging away. I shared this in videos years ago. We've been doing this for a while and got blasted. Oh, you're such a loser. You had your wife working so you could write stupid stories all day. My wife's mother had what's called a sari-sari store. It's like a very small convenience store there in the Philippines. dearly would take our baby and go work with her mother all day for 80 pesos a day, which at the time was $2, so I could stay home alone and write all day. Well, that writing eventually came to be valuable in certain circles, and then long story short, we were no longer down and out in the Philippines. We're over here, we're in the US, we're doing well. I'm not bragging. Our needs are met and we want for nothing. And we've been in places where our needs were not met and we wanted for the bare necessities. That's not our life today, okay? We are thankful, we are grateful. But what I was telling my son about this magic, about the power of positive thinking, is that during those dark days, we never gave up. We never said, and there were people who approached me and said, you know what, Kevin, you're an American. You could go back, get on the dole, and you guys would. And I'm like, nope, I'm not going back unless I can take my family with me when I do. And I'm not going back unless I'm earning enough from what it is I'm passionate about, which is my writing, to where I can give us the life we want to have. I'm going back to live the American dream, not the American nightmare. And it took 6 years for us to get there, to get here. But in our minds, we were throwing that out there to the universe. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. We're going to make it. Somehow, some way, this down and out, broken, marginally insane, crazy combat Iraq war veteran who's stuck in the Philippines is going to make it in writing, in social media, whatever it was, because this is what we're doing. This is where we're putting forth the efforts, and we did. And as I told my son, right around the time we were able to come here, because we were telling the universe it's going to happen, we're going to make it happen. It's right around the time Hulk Hogan won his lawsuit against Gawker and got more money than he ever earned in the WWE, or WWF as it was in anyway. Sometimes it takes a long time for it to come around. Sometimes you've got to lose everything in order to get it all. But whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, either way, you are absolutely right. There is a magic. It's called the magic. It's called the power of positive thinking. Send those vibes out there. You tell the universe, I will, I will, I will. You do the work that's involved to get there, and you do, and you do, and you do. And that will and that do will meet at some point at a crossroad in the future, and it will be. Thanks for being here for another video from Homesteading Off the Grid. See you next time.